Welcome back and welcome in. And today is one of those ugly days where we have to address the ugliest elephant in the ugliest room of such a beautiful sport that I do love, boxing, and that is corruption and robberies. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this past Saturday, Shaki Foster took on Robinson Conceição on the top ranked card. This was for the WBC Super Featherweight Championship, and if you saw the fight, like I saw the fight, like most people who know boxing saw the fight, Oshaki Foster clearly won and retained his title. He was the cleaner boxer. He was the more technically sound boxer. He landed the cleaner shots. He dodged the most amount of punches. He was rolling to the point where I think Mayweather would be happy. It was a perfect defensive performance for him. And somehow he left the arena without his title and another loss on his record because the judges awarded this a split decision win for Robinson Conceição. Now, if you saw the fight, Robinson Conceição was throwing a lot of shots and he was throwing a lot of combinations, and they were all landing on the gloves of Shaki Foster as he shoulder rolled, as he dodged, as he just stepped out the way. He just put on a pretty good, I shouldn't say pretty good, he put on a good defensive performance, and he was awarded with the loss. And these type of things happen from time to time, and you have close fights in MMA and boxing, and sometimes it can go either way. This wasn't one of those times. This was a clear victory for Oshaki Foster. He was the better fighter, like I mentioned before. And unfortunately, when you see robberies like this, you can't help but start thinking about possible corruption and how did the refs get this so wrong. And I typically don't get into conspiracies and behind the scenes politics of boxing, but hear me out on this one. And I think you'll probably hear a couple of other boxing channels and pundits talk about this too. I wonder if this just wasn't a case of Top Rank not wanting to potentially lose another title with the potential departure of Shakur Stevenson. So they wanted to make sure that they kept the title in-house. I think with Shaki Foster was on a 2 or 3 fight deal with Top Rank. This would be his second fight. So, and Robinson Conceição has just always been reliable for them. I think he's had now 4 title fights in about 2 or 3 years. So he's definitely a company man for Top Rank. And I think there was just a chance of them potentially losing Shakur Stevenson and losing another WBC title. And to prevent that from happening, there's a chance that, they gave the judges a little something to say, let's keep this title in-house, because I just can't imagine what they're looking at. Now, I know judges see the fight from a different angle than us, the fans, whether that's the fans in the audience or fans watching at home. And perhaps to the uninitiated, you think that those shots that Robinson was throwing was truly landed on Shaki. But if you looked at the end of the round, there was no damage accumulated. And obviously, just the sound that those punches were making is clear. He was only hitting his gloves. He was not landing clean shots at all. I think he might have outstruck him in the body, but he definitely did not outstrike him or land with more accuracy to the face or to the face or any of those shots. This is just another example of what's wrong with boxing. You just get these awful robberies that, as fans, we get frustrated in essentially you telling me I didn't see what I see, but also as a fighter, you've got to sympathize with them as well. If you saw the announcement at the end of the fight, Oshaki Foster was basically brought to tears because you got to imagine he's put in all this time in a training camp. He's put in the time in practice and training. He goes out there and he puts on the best performance that he and his team have put together, only to be awarded a loss and only to lose your belt. That's a tough pill to swallow, and it sucks even more because that's not a medicine you should be taking. He won that fight. And this is just one of those things in boxing that just make it so frustrating. In team sports, you don't have to deal with this. Yes, there's levels of corruption. Yes, there's some bad calls here and there. But this just seems to be too normal and too frequent in boxing. And it makes it hard to be a fan.